Hi guys, I'm Anita and I'm back with another video. As promised, today I'm going to be doing a review of Stories of Your Life and Others by Ted Chiang. This has been my favorite book so far this year, so I feel like it's appropriate that I do a separate review of this just to let you know what I feel about every story in this. Because overall this obviously is a short story collection, a science fiction short story collection, and it is by the same author, all of the stories in here, but they're so different both in their writing style and the setup and the pace, and I really find that interesting that an author can show so many different sides to him as an author. And there were a few stories in here that I rated 4 stars, and there's one that I'm not really sure what I'm rating it because it was so short that I don't really know how to feel about it. But those other stories in here that were 5 stars, they were so good that I couldn't consider giving it less than 5 stars when I read it. So let's get into the different stories in here, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it and my thoughts on it. The first story in here is called Tower of Babylon, and this is a story about a man who sets out on a sort of journey to travel up the Tower of Babylon, up into heaven, and to find out what's beyond the tower. I don't think I need to say a lot more about the topic of this. This was definitely very, very interesting, and I was really intrigued to see all of the things he saw on the way up the tower. This was not my favorite story in there, but I did give this 4 out of 5 stars. The next story in here is called Understand. This is a story about this person who's going through this sort of hormone sort of therapy that eventually creates overly intelligent people, and it was so interesting seeing how this person kept changing his views about other people the more intelligent he got, and how at one point it was almost over the top how he was thinking about stuff. And yeah, I really loved this story and I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. The next one is called Division by Zero, and this follows a woman who is a mathematician. She discovers a proof that actually makes all of the mathematics as we know them, it makes them completely meaningless, and sort of how she's dealing with coming to terms with that revelation and all of that. And I really enjoyed this. I personally myself love maths, and I am always really a logical thinking person, so this story just spoke to me on so many levels, and I ended up giving this 5 out of 5 stars. And the next story in here is Stories of Your Life, which is obviously where this book got its title from, and this is also the story that's been adapted into the movie Arrival, or where the movie Arrival took its inspiration from. This story explores linguistics and languages. It follows this woman who has to find a way to communicate with these aliens that's coming to the Earth. It's also told in multiple, not perspectives, but it's both present, future, and past tense. And it all follows the woman in different stages of her life as she's trying to find out these things. And basically she's telling this story to her kid. And I love this story. It was so amazing, and I gave it 5 stars. The story after this, I was not sure how I was going to be enjoying this one as much as Stories of Your Life. But it's called 72 Letters, and this is a story about a man who was sort of working on a way to create humans' fetuses without the human womb to actually grow the babies in. And it definitely explores genetics in a whole new way, and I find that really interesting. I was really intrigued with this one. It was pretty fast paced compared to some of the other stories in here, and I really enjoyed that. And I ended up giving this also 5 out of 5 stars. The next story in here is called The Evolution of Human Science. And this is a story that was so brief. I think it's only 5 pages or something. I don't really remember exactly what this one was about because it was so brief. Maybe I should just read it through right now just to find out. But I did write down that I gave it 4 stars. So whatever I read, I probably enjoyed for the most part. And the next story in here is called Hell is the Absence of God. This story explores how angels are visiting regularly on the earth, and where some of these people that they miraculously save, and then they just kill all of the bystanders surrounding them. So yeah, it definitely is pretty provoking towards religion and religious thoughts and stuff, and what you believe in and whatever, but I end up giving this 4 out of 5 stars. The next story in here is called Liking What You See, and this is sort of a documentary sort of setup. This is a story where you follow numerous people who has been exposed to this thing called kaliagnosia, which is a way for people to not see or respond to beauty. So this is tested on a school to see how teens react to this when they're not seeing someone's beauty, and I found that very interesting as well, and I ended up giving this 4.5 out of 5 stars. So overall, I really enjoyed all of the stories in here. There was not one story that I rated below 4 stars, and that speaks to how amazing I find this book, because usually when I read short story collections, anthologies and stuff, there'll always be the random story in there that I really didn't like or really didn't enjoy, or found too that just went over my head or something. But I really don't think that was the case with this collection, and that's why it's so high up on my recommendations list now. And I highly recommend this short story collection to everyone who's not yet picked it up, and it's definitely a book that I'll probably reread at some point, if not just to see my favorite ones in there. And I'm definitely also intrigued to see the movie Arrival now, just to see how it is compared to the story, because obviously the short story in here is like 50 or 60 pages or something like that, so it's really not a very long story. And so there must be they must have expanded on some of the things in here to make it a 1.5 hour movie. So definitely intrigued to see that as well. And yeah, so a highly recommended book, and as I said before, it's a 5-star read for me, and it's a favorite book of the year so far. So this is all I had for you today. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read this book and what you thought of it, and if you agree with any of my thoughts. Also let me know if you want to pick this book up after what I've been saying about this book. And finally, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye!